there's a wait list, and if you put yourself on the wait list, then you'll get my GPT for content creation based on Marcus Sheridan. So just a little sweetener for answering a few questions.
Cool.
Anyhow, so today I really want to talk to you all about our two girls, our two AI children, or my two AI children. One of them is called Ailsa, and the other one is called Janice. And funnily enough, they are named, I name all my chatbots after my young at heart aunties. And Janice and Ailsa are actually sisters, would you believe? Oh. So the first bit, like a bit of background on Ailsa first, if you want to humour me for a bit. I did this study last year. You can see, actually it was earlier this year, how time flies when you're having fun. Playing with OpenAI's new Pro feature, and coughed up the $200 to try and figure out how we were deep researching agents, how AI would impact search. And so I went through all this stuff, like installed a VPN on my computer and this other stuff so that I could hack into feeling like I was in the US. And what we found is 5 things. So number one is the death of, like, I can take care of all your real estate needs everywhere from here to Timbuktu. AI is not going to like that, because what AI wants to ask the user is, are you selling a house? Are you selling an apartment? Are you selling a boat? Are you, like, what are you selling? And so AI is going to want to personalize its results for the user as much as possible. So that's where I help tech executives find luxury waterfront homes in Eastern Sydney. I help families find homes in Narrabeen. You know, that might be something that you might say, Grant. Then data consistency is the new SEO. So the AIs love data, but what they want to see is they want to see that you've got the same business names across all of your platforms and that your info all lines up. Right, so Grant Madison on Google has got to equal Grant Madison on a lead agent, has got to equal Grant Madison on Rate My Agent, has got to equal Grant Madison on REA. Is that all? That's all pretty simple. Yep. And then the other thing is, because your consumers are AI enabled, this has gotten teachy very quickly, hasn't it, this morning? Because your consumers are AI enabled, like, I feel like what's going to happen there is they're going to get the information that often you give them. How many days does it take to sell in this area? What can I expect to get? Those sorts of things can be automated through deep research. And if consumers aren't doing it now, it's just a matter of time, I would say. And so the AI is actually looking for things like days on market, final sale prices, sale methods, commission rates, that sort of thing. So all the things that Marcus Sheridan teaches, so that's the reason I've got him in as a bonus already in the next course, because I feel like what's going to happen now is SEO is not going to be about backlinking to a certain page. I think you're going to start hearing the phrase trust signals a lot. Like, you know, how do you demonstrate trust in a digital way across multiple platforms? Because you guys know, and I know, that when you do a deep research, who is the best real estate agent in Narrabeen, it is going to search 35 different places or more. That's where we're at now. And so I think, you know, what we're going to see is it's not going to be good enough to sort of have everything backlinking to your website, but there's going to need to be trust signals in different parts of the web. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Like, you know, it's like not just one place anymore. And then we found some other things. So, you know, this was in the early days of the AI agent world, that it was called Operator back then, that the user will likely ask if they want to book an appointment. So if you don't have some sort of a Calendly widget or a booking widget or something like that on your website that is easily findable, get one. Like, I mean, you should have one anyway, but I think that that's going to be a necessary. And then the ultimate AI defense, you know, your weekly market insights, your monthly newsletters, and your regular check-ins. So this was like, this was what happened, as I said, February this year. And there is a tutorial in the community where I actually went through. I mean, it was just basically, okay, what does this do? What does this do? What does this do? So I was like, I guess learning myself and recording it at the same time so that you could see, what I was thinking. But what we found also is that now, something else curious is happening is that the trust signals are coming from other places like the media, places like, Facebook, Instagram, places like that. And so in all of the searching I did, because as you guys know, I've been sort of doing a lot of speaking, doing a lot of magic tricks on stage. I consider myself to be a bit of a magician now. Watch this, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat. Hey, presto. Anyway, every time I did a deep research on someone, if we had done a story on them, they were being surfaced. Like, here is a reference, elite agent. Here is a reference, elite agent. And so I put my thinking cap on and thought, what does this mean and how can we help our good agents get found? And as some of you guys know, like I've been on a bit of a hobby horse my whole career in this business, saying that there's not enough good news stories written about good agents, because what happens is the mainstream media, either you've got to be selling the palace or the dump to get recognised, or you've got to have done something wrong. And so what I kind of have always wanted to do with Elite Agent is flip that a bit on its head and say, well, I want to tell a story about you if you've done something right. And there's a whole lot of people out there that I think kind of get consumers start to think, well, if this agent out in Sydney is doing the wrong thing, then everybody else by default must be doing the wrong thing too. And I think that there's no evidence to refute that. Anyway, so Mark and I sat down, to cut a long story short, and said, how can we fix this? And this was about when I started working on that AI first formula of mine, which I've been through a couple of times with you guys. And I was thinking, well, obviously, why doesn't the media like to tell good stories about agents? Well, it's all about the clickbait there. It's not about actually helping them. And then we started thinking about, well, if we've worked out how to create content at scale for events like ARIC, how can we create content at scale for agents using everything that we've learned so far? And so, that led to a few more brainstorming sessions. And finally, we came up with this idea that, and this sort of came from some work I've done with the REIV as well. We've created a conversational AI for the REIV, which hasn't been released yet. But basically, his name is Victor. That's my other AI child. So I actually have 3 AI children. Don't ask, Victor's actually named after. Anyway, it started me thinking, like, if this trend continues to keep going when it comes to talking to the AI, and I'm doing it all the time now. I'm feeling like typing is slow and I'm using whisper flow for pretty much everything. Then, maybe, started thinking about, what do I know about agents? Time poor, on their phones all the time, in between meetings all the time, in their cars all the time. How do we get stories out of them? And to be honest, when we're writing feature stories, it's a bit of a problem, because an agent will always go for an appraisal or a listing or whatever, and I do not blame you for that. So then we sort of thought, well, what if we use the conversational AI that's open 24/7 to start creating stories? And then we can put this through a few different AI agents, and this is what I would call truly agentic behaviour, which is the AI starts to decide what to put in the story, where to go, and all that sort of thing. And essentially, that's what Ailsa is. So Ailsa, not only is she one of my aunt's names, but stands for AI Listing Success Accelerator. Now, Ailsa's first capability is the ability to write editorial, which Grant has already tested. And that story is already, I think, we published it the other night, it's already number 4 on Google. So what we've done is we've taken everything that I know about AI search, everything I know about conversational AI or have predicted, and Ailsa has written 2 stories yet. She's in beta, and we're offering everybody who is a paid member access to Ailsa as part of your membership. So Grant, you're number 4 at the moment, but one story is not enough. You've got to be consistent, and that's where this trust signals thing comes into play. So just to show you what I mean by this story, and I'll let Grant maybe talk to you about his experience with Ailsa. But if I go back here for a second, and we'll just Google Grant Madison, I'll just say real estate. Hopefully he hasn't dropped any. Oh, he has. You've dropped. See, that's what I mean about consistency. There it is now, it's at number 10. So this was at number 4 the other day, above Rate My Agent and Domain even. But here's the story that we wrote on Grant based on his phone call to Ailsa. And I'll show you a little bit of how this works on the back end if you're interested. Hey, Carl, I haven't seen you here before. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too, Brent. I don't think I've seen you here before either. Just a little hello to everyone. Normally these are more sort of two-way things, but I've just got some stuff to show you all this week. So here it is. So this is Grant's story. Strategic campaign delivers 1.57 million sale, 8% above the Suburb median. And so, this is a common story, I think, for a lot of real estate agents out there, and you're probably all nodding, is that you do get a result that's above average, but unless it's like, something that's going to put you in danger of having underquoted or something else, then, it's not reported that way. So there we go. Local Narrabeen Specialist Grant Madison has delivered a notable result, blah, 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 blah. The expressions, so this was an interesting sale, the expressions of interest. We talked about the negotiation, Narrabeen. Now, it's amazing. I think Grant was in the car while he delivered this to Ailsa, and he didn't have to write a word. He only had to correct one spelling thing. And so this is automated on the back end, and I'll show you a little bit of the magic that happens in the back end. But you can see that we've kind of thought of everything from optimizing the link that comes out of a lead agent and hitting on all of those points that the AI said it was looking for. So how many days on market? Where do you specialize in? What type of property is it? So that you can actually have this SEO optimized content without really sitting down and picking up a pen. So that's the idea. What do you think?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So the way it works, I'll make a quick phone call so that you can see what happens and how it looks. So Ailsa.
Hi, you've reached Ailsa at eliteagent.com. Thanks for calling in your sale. I'll gather the details for your story, and you'll have a draft in your inbox within 24 hours to approve before anything's published. First up, what is your 4-digit PIN?
2402.
Thanks. Now, congratulations on your recent sale. I'm writing a feature story on it, and some details can remain undisclosed if you prefer. The more you can share about your process and strategy, the better this will showcase your expertise to future vendors. Let's start with the basics. Could you please provide the full street address of the property?
I'd like to keep the address undisclosed.
No problem at all. We can certainly keep the address undisclosed. Could you share the suburb, state and postcode for the property?
It was Broadbeach Waters, Queensland, 4218.
Perfect. And what was the final sale price? This can also be undisclosed if you prefer.
1.7 million.
That's a great result. How was the property sold? Auction, private treaty, expressions of interest, tender or off market?
It was via private treaty.
Got it. And what type of property is it? A house, unit, townhouse, or something else?
It's a lovely Palm Springs style house on one level.
A one-level Palm Springs style house. Sounds beautiful. How many bedrooms and bathrooms does it have?
4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms.
4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. And how many car spaces were included?
There's a double lock-up garage and off-street parking.
A double lock-up garage plus off-street parking. Excellent. And what's the lead agent's name for the story?
Samantha McLean.
Samantha McLean. Thank you. Could you tell me the contract date for this sale?
Yes, it was the 2nd of October 2025.
Contract date October 2nd, 2025. And how many days was the property on the market?
20.
20 days. That's a solid result in this market. What was your strategy for this sale?
My strategy was to use social media, or was to use AI to create some really fantastic social media ads and that brought people in, or potential buyers in, from all around the country.
That's a brilliant strategy, using AI for social media ads to attract buyers from across the country. It really showcases your expertise in leveraging modern marketing. What did the vendors say about working with you?
The vendors were really happy, and they're moving into a nice canal front house around the corner.
That's wonderful to hear. Moving to a canal front house sounds like a fantastic upgrade. To recap, we have an undisclosed address in Broadbeach Waters, Queensland, postcode 4218. It's a 1-level, 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house with a double lock-up garage plus off-street parking. Sold by a private treaty on October 2nd, 2025, in 20 days. The lead agent is Samantha McLean, and the sale price was $1.7 million. The vendors were very happy, and you used a strategy of AI-powered social media ads to attract buyers nationwide. Is there anything else you'd like to add about your approach or this particular sale that would highlight your expertise for future vendors?
I think, we were negotiating really hard. There was multiple offers in the end. We had 3 different offers, which weren't quite where the vendor wanted, but, we really stuck in there and made sure that they got the result that they were looking for.
That's fantastic insight. Negotiating hard with multiple offers to secure the vendor's desired result truly highlights your dedication and skill. It's exactly the kind of detail that makes a story compelling and shows future clients what you bring to the table. This will make a great story, showcasing your strategic approach and commitment to your clients. Thank you so much for your time.
She's going to hang up on me now. When she's done, she's a bit like Chris Hanley, done. So that was the whole conversation. Now, what will happen now is she was looking for various data points in that conversation. If you were sort of really listening, she was looking for how many bedrooms and bathrooms, what the suburb was, who the lead agent was, how many days on market, all of those things that I just talked about. So then what she's going to do is she's going to go and split some of the data out, and she's going to go, right, Broadbeach Waters 4218, what's the current days on market, and go and search. And she's going to look at that sort of detail, and that's how we got the result for Grant, which was 8% above the median. So we'd actually compared what Grant's result was to what had happened out there. And so now the headline is that Grant Madison gets 8% above the median for this property anyway. And hopefully long may that continue, Grant. And long may we write stories about it, because that's what's going to lead to the trust signals. So what happens now is Ailsa will write this. Do you want me to show you what happens on the back end of all of this, just in a bit of detail? So we use a tool called N8N to automate this, and this is actually quite a complex automation where there's like 4 workflows that go into this, because obviously we've got to get the agent details, then we've got to take the call, then we've got to write the story, and then we've got to publish the story. So there's like 4 separate things going on here. And this is kind of this is kind of the future. I'm just logging into N8N at the moment, so you can see my screen. And I have several workflows running on N8N at the moment. So first of all, the first thing it does is it goes from 11 Labs, which is the conversational AI we're using. And what it will do is it will take a webhook from 11 Labs, which has a whole bunch of information, including the conversation information. It uses some code to go through that transcript and take all those data points that I was talking about, grabs the recording, and then uploads the file to Airtable. And then once that happens, it kicks off workflow 2, which happens to be kicking off the story creation. What happens there is, let me just grab the workflow here. So what it does then is it says, all right, well, that bit of the workflow is finished in Airtable. We're going to go through the transcripts. We're going to pass the output. Actually, that should be back. That shouldn't be off. That should be on. Then it goes and searches for the agent's PIN, so that it makes sure that the PIN that I gave you, will make sure you remember first. And then it also goes and fetches your email address, your phone number, your contact details, your website, so that it can actually embed those in the story. Then she goes off, as I said, and queries the suburb. And so we look at, what you've given us compared to what the suburb is. Then there's a second validation of the market data. So we actually look at it for reasonableness. Then this is where some of the real magic happens, is it goes into an AI agent, and what we can do in these workflows, because they're sort of proprietary to us, is we can use a best of breed model. Like, so a lot of the AI tools that you'll get on the market these days, they'll be using cheap models like, you know, GPT-5 mini or something like that. Whereas we've decided that, you know, we're going right to the top and using sort of Claude 4.1, and I'll have a look at how this runs with 4.5. So it's widely accepted, I think, or known that Claude is actually a better AI at writing than anyone. So we're going to use the best AI at writing the story. Then that's going to go into a second AI agent who's actually going to decide whether the story's crap or not. Like, literally behaves like a proper editor, goes through another series of prompts, and then saves the story to Airtable. And what that looks like is that, you know, when you get the email from us, it'll say something like, here are the facts you need to check. Here are the things the human editor said. Here are the things that the AI editor said. Here's the story. Please check it. Hit reply and let us know if it's okay. And then once it is okay, Ailsa will go on to step 3 then. Let me save that. Ailsa will go on to step 3, which is send story to WordPress. And basically this is a very boring workflow here that actually, you know, goes deep into code land, so that, you know, because our implementation of WordPress is quite complex. And yeah, so you can see here what it does is it then goes and picks up that, you know, the story's been approved. It'll go and get the agent record again, prepare it for WordPress, create the post, upload any images, and then update the record. And then you'll get an email back saying your story's been published. Congratulations, go share it on your socials and in your newsletter. So that's basically how Ailsa works. I am going to, so I was going to say, Megan, there's another sister coming. There's another AI sister coming. She's called Lois. She's our general purpose chatbot. And I think for property like this one's actually been geared towards sales, like days on market and all that sort of stuff. You know, so property management will have another one soon, named after another of my favourite aunties, Lois, and also famous journalist Lois Lane. She might have an AI in her surname though. She might be Lois Lane. Anyway, so any questions about Ailsa? Actually, I'll shut up for a second. Grant, tell me about your experience with Ailsa. Was she easy to use? Oh, you're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, as you said, it was very easy to use. I actually, because you sent the template that I may hear online, that sort of, you know, gave me a moment to gather my thoughts on what the questions were going to be, and which was great. I don't think the questions were exactly in order with the questions I got emailed, but it didn't matter. I knew, you know, I'd already decided on the answers. So yeah, it was very straightforward, very easy, and obviously the end result was great. Yeah, you couldn't have wished for more. No.
Yeah. So that is very cool. So as I said, this is a service that, you know, we're sort of saying is beta at the moment. We've got a wait list, but if you are a member of AI Powered Agents, you're welcome to skip the wait list and give us a story a month. Do you want me to I'll put the boarding form in the chat box. Would that be helpful for this? Hang on a second, let me find another form. I'm giving the old tally forms a bit of a hammering lately. Gotta tell you, Ailsa agent onboarding. So basically what you need to do is you just need to fill in the onboarding form, which will ask you details about who you are, where you're from, give us a bio, because what Ailsa does do is she does incorporate your bio into the story as well. Like, you know, so again, this is for SEO reasons, because the AIs want to find consistency amongst all of it. And as you'll know, I think with Grant's story, one moment, let me just grab this. So if you want to test Ailsa, there's the link to onboard yourself. And yes, with Grant's story, let me just go back to this.
I did obviously take the link and put it into social media and Facebook and Substack, email, newsletter. So it's getting around.
I saw that actually. So I saw that was in your Substack yesterday. So I thought, good man.
Yeah.
So this is the about the agent paragraph. So we take little bits of the story plus little bits of the bio and make sure that all sort of matches up. There you go. So, and put his phone number in. So if the AI or Google happens to surface this, there's no Easter egg hunting. It's just straight into it. So that is Ailsa. Any questions? I sort of feel like Ailsa could be a busy girl.
Yeah, I think she's going to be very busy, Sam.
Yeah, she can take it though.
No, that's good.
She can take it. She can take whatever you dish out to her. So yeah, that's Ailsa. Now, the other little tool that I'm giving you guys access to is a little tool called Janice. I'll show you that one now, and I'll show you what she does. So Janice is for all of the folks in the world that feel like crystal's too expensive, but they still want to do the disc profiling. So again, I was sitting there the other day with someone who didn't want to pay $588 a year, US that is, not Skippy dollars. And so what I did was I just wondered, could AI predict, because AI is so great at language patterns, could it predict what someone's disc profile was from how they talk, and how they write emails and how they write social posts? Now, obviously this has a caveat, which is if someone's using AI for their social posts, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to detect. So I'd be sort of looking for personal things or answer the real estate questionnaire. So what we're going to do is I'm going to click on new profile, and I'm not going to identify this person because I think, again, I'm using it's our API into Gemini, but it's still a public API. So you probably don't want to be identifying anybody. So I'm just going to put Mark in here for the purposes of this demonstration. And instead of going with text input or file upload in the first instance, I've created a real estate questionnaire, which is based on observable behaviours that you might observe about this person in a normal real estate context. So I'm going to say, and Mark, by the way, when I'm not talking about you, Mark O'Shea, I'm talking about husband Mark Edwards. So I'm going to say he's a publisher and publisher. So when we answer questions about Mark, when you call to schedule an open home, they get excited about meeting buyers and chatting with everyone, ask for the planned paperwork and exact timing, worry about the disruption, or say they want to be there and involved in the process. Well, Mark is likely to ask for the plan, so I'm just going to answer that. When you suggest a price strategy, they love creative ideas, marketing events, or ways to get attention. That would be me. You would answer that for me. Push for the highest price and want to go to market fast, ask for comps, data and market proof, or prefer a safe approach that keeps the stress low. That's probably going to be marked there. What method of sale are they leaning towards? I think he would probably like an auction. During property discussions, they focus most on people, neighbours, details or comfort. He's definitely a detail guy. When problems come up, they look worried, want reassurances, ask for all the facts, timelines and options. That's probably him. In meetings or calls, they chat about life, share stories or go off on tangents. That's definitely not him. He's probably more, take notes and ask technical questions. With market updates, they want fun stories, detailed reports, highlights and quick results, calm, step by step. I think he's probably what's next. When you talk fees or commissions, they want to know the value and benefits, compare it to data. That's definitely him. I don't need to go any further. On campaign timing, they prefer events with energy and momentum, fast, decisive, structured plan. I think that's him there. When you advise them it's best not to attend the open home, their reaction is insist they need to be there to see the buyers and keep control, express disappointment as they were looking. That's definitely not Mark, number 2. Hates talking to people. Ask for the strategic reasons, that's probably him. And if I was to say my gut feeling about Mark is super nice guy on the surface, but analyses everything. It could be something like he's short with me, or whatever your gut feeling is, you can actually sort of put in there, and then you can hit analyse, and then this will go off and figure out based on the questions what Mark is likely to be in terms of disc profile. So this is not meant to be the be all and end all of, and it's not a crystal competitor at the moment. Might actually be more accurate because you're actually doing it from your observations of that person. So take a moment, there we go. Mark is a definite C. So it's given me his whole dominance, influence, steadiness, conscientiousness. So he's high C there. And yeah, so what I can do now too, I can download this now if I want to, but let's just say he sent me a couple of emails. So I'm going to add to my intel on him. And let me find an email from Mark. There's a couple he sent recently. So Mark actually sends quite long emails, which is something I don't do. But I'm just going to input text here, and I'm going to paste this email that Mark sent to someone, and I'm going to click analyze. And so what this does is that takes that email and then adds it to what we already know about Mark. What a great time to be alive, hey? Amazing. All right, so now we've come with secondary dominance, and I'm just going to add another email here for him. And I'll click analyze. And so now we've sort of got 3 pieces of information logged, and I've included a file upload there just because. And then you should be able to, once this is all done, you should be able to work this the same way that you would work a Crystal profile. So that's why I've included the download option here, and a warning, don't put identifiable data in here. Don't go dumping your CRM in here or anything like that. So we've gone back to being conscientious, all right, and a fairly high one too. So now I'm going to just, sort of download that, and then, maybe go to ChatGPT or something like that. Where should we begin? And I'm going to say something like, I'm about to go into a listing presentation with a potential vendor. His name is Mark. I've got some information on what I think his disc profile is. Can you please highlight what objections he might have and in what order I should present things to him? And I'll just add my little dossier on my husband. And now, I don't know if you guys know this trick or not, but this is ChatGPT 5, which tends to change models on you. Like one moment it's sort of acting like improv actor, and another moment it's, thinking hard. But for something like this, I actually want the model to think hard. So if you actually say think hard, it puts it into thinking mode rather than just that snappy answer. Let's see what it says and see how I've just put it into thinking mode. We need some hold music. You want me to put Megan Trainor back on? All right, here we go. Snapshot of Mark. Likely profile, C with a strong D. Likely objections. How did you arrive at that price? So show the method, not just the number. Auction versus private treaty, prove the best path. And so he's going to want a side by side. Marketing costs, what's necessary and what's waste. So he's probably going to be the guy that wants to go through the VPA schedule line by line. Your fee, show me the net benefit. Tie fee to negotiation, delta and risk reduction. Timeline and control, what happens when. So, Gantt style milestones, maybe something visual. Buy quality, blah, blah, blah. Recommended order of presentation, agenda and objective, valuation, logic, sale method plans, marketing plan, timeline, risks, fees, proof, decision gates. And then it's got, some phrasing to use and avoid. So here's the method. What gives you the highest confidence in achieving X by Y? Avoid, trust me. And Mark's actually listening to this. I can see he's here. We always do, or hype or vague superlatives, because no doubt he'll be revisiting those over a beer. Did you hear what that agent said? Trust me. Micro scripts for top objections, price accuracy. There you go. We selected 7 comps that meet these criteria. Method of sale, given your time frame of and tolerance for public price discovery, auction offers fastest decision velocity. Anyway, leave behinds for his review style, executive summary, full comp pack, blah, blah, blah. Close style of these 3 options, which gives you the highest confidence. If he wants time, I'll email the pack now. Shall we lock in a 10-minute decision call for tomorrow? That's that high D kind of bit of a tendency in him. So, so that is Janice. So what do you think of Janice?
Yep.
Brent, Carl, you guys have been quiet. What do you reckon?
Still taking it in. It's all very, very new to me, and it's a language I need to get more familiar with. And it's one of these things. The more you use it, the more experience you're going to get from it. So I'm very much at the beginning of the journey, and but what I've seen today is very, very, very impressive. Thank you for bringing it to us.
Well, welcome to the AI train. I'm sure you're addicted like we all are now.
Yeah, God, it sort of makes you rethink a lot of things, and what's probably I'm finding the most difficult thing to wrap my head around is trying to put yourself in the consumer's position. So, okay, how are they going to use this, and then what can I do to make myself and the company more appealing to what they're going to choose? So, yeah.
Yeah. I actually have a whole podcast on that. It's called ChatGPT Hijacked My Listing or something like that.
Okay.
I'll find it, just one sec, because I actually think that this behavior is like, it's going to be like, here's what's happening is you're AI enabled, consumers AI enabled. So what are you going to do that's going to set yourself apart? I actually think it's providing insights that the
Sure.
AI don't have. Like,
Mhm.
how do you combine your years of experience with the AI that can supercharge you on the back end and work with people you really want to work with? And the same on that end too. Consumers will still work with people they want to work with, and humans they want to work with. And I want to be super clear on one thing, is that I think that the reports of AI taking over real estate are greatly exaggerated. And that became obvious with a report that OpenAI put out this week called the GDP Val report. Hang on a sec, let me do one thing at a time. Basically, they did a study of professionals, and it's American, so, you'll have to forgive them for that, but they're sort of based in America. Did a study of professionals with 14 years experience and put AI up against them in various different admin jobs or desk jobs, and so define those as things like proposals, CMAs, that sort of thing. And they found that AI only got to a max of about 50% win rate, and that was only on those admin-y things. So, the face-to-face stuff, and very much, the way that I think everyone's got to be thinking about this is, how does this AI supercharge me so that I can spend more time on the human aspects of, the relationship aspects of real estate? And it could be something really simple, like I'm now using AI to write responses to my Google reviews, and with the time I'm saving, I'm going to hand deliver my client settlement gifts, which is a much more pleasant experience than responding to Google reviews anyway. But the ease of, I think Shopify killed our need to go and actually deliver gifts personally. And so that was an easy thing to outsource, but I think that's one thing to bring back, so that you can go and have that human conversation with someone, because everyone ultimately gets sick of talking to the AIs. Anyway, even me. Where is this? So you probably want to have a watch of this video here. Oh, hang on. I just realised I've been putting all of the links here. Oh, there we go. Oh, Mark's already put it. Could ChatGPT hijack your next deal? Yeah. Yeah, I've been putting links to Megan actually instead of everyone. Yeah, have a look at that, and that has got some good strategies for dealing with AI-enabled consumers, because it's almost like they will come armed with their phones and question every decision you make. Carl, what are you thinking? What are your thoughts so far on today's update?
Yeah, like Brett, I'm a bit new to the whole field and a bit of a social, I say spastic, it's not completely correct these days, but yeah, not really up to date on this sort of stuff. So I'm just sort of watch and learn, try to soak it in and see what I can implement.
Yeah. Good place to start if you've just joined the members area, I think, is probably with practical property prompts. Like that one is where I tell everyone to start, because a prompt a day gets you set up, gets you using AI well and for the right reasons, I think. I'll show you quickly this GDP val thing, which actually gives me a lot of, I don't know, faith, I think, that the work that we're doing here at least is on the right track. I mean, you'll hear from a lot of people who sort of think, well, maybe at the moment, I think the hobby horse that I don't like is the one that says a real estate agent using AI will replace a real estate agent that doesn't. I think that's a bit of a dumb statement, because I think that bad use of AI does not equal, an agent plus bad use of AI does not equal good. Like, it won't equal better. And the other thing is that if, I think AI is meant to be your co-pilot, not your autopilot. And I think if you can get your mind in that direction of, okay, it's meant to be helping me and not replacing me. Like, I don't think AI first is handing everything off to AI. I think AI first is putting AI at the core of your operations, which I've been talking about endlessly. But anyway, this is my Substack, which I've gone back to. And this is the graph that, this is a study OpenAI recently released the other day. And you can see what they did was they looked at various industries and looked at various jobs and various models. And you can see, like, across the bottom, everything from GPT-4 up to Claude. Now, the question I get most asked is which model? Like, so it looks like in real estate, Claude is in fact the best model. But you can see that, we only got to as good as 49% with Claude on some of the admin tasks. So that means that 50% of tasks in real estate were still done better by a human. Does that make sense? And we're talking about the desk tasks, not the face-to-face tasks. So this doesn't even deal with that. But then, you come down here and you go, okay, well, here's a bit more of a solid breakdown. Might be able to show you this really big. Let me try. No, let me try to blow it up here like this. So over here, like, we've got property, real estate and community association managers. So Claude only won 34% of the time. Real estate brokers, read leaders 50% of the time, and looks like GPT-5 won that one. And then real estate sales agents, it's even lower. If anyone was going to be in a bit of trouble here, it looks like buyers agents. And journalists, of course. Look at this. I'm in trouble. If I was staying in my career, I'd be in real trouble. But, this is kind of funny, isn't it? Like, with all of the video editing tools that are out at the moment, film and video editors are still really super low, which is really interesting. So I do think that, it is really the people that will own the future is the people that use AI well, that can automate stuff. That think about it this way, even if it's just real simple. Saving 2 hours a day gives you back a month a year. That's what the numbers are. And it doesn't really matter how you save those 2 hours a day. It could be automating your newsletter. It could be getting a lead agent to create some just sold content for you. It could be, using an AI to organize your inbox. Could be some other process. But, that's the goal. Take life's inputs, automate some of them, and pay serious attention to our customers, in a nutshell. Anyway.
Did that survey that you just went through show that if it was unmonitored or unsupervised, that the percentage dropped significantly from like 50% to 30% if it was just left to AI by itself?
Yes, it did. So that's why it's like co-pilot, not autopilot. Your Maverick, it's Goose. Yep. So, and there's still like, I think 2.7% of catastrophic failures or something. Yeah. So, but then, the other follow-up here is simple improvements made huge differences. So that was kind of the takeaway for me at the end of this article, is that don't take what the AI says as gospel. Like, even over here, let's just go back here to this prompt. Objections for handling mark. I might just say here, let me swap my screen. What's risky, unclear or missing here? And actually go use the AI as your sparring partner, not just as I believe everything it says, because in the past it's hallucinated into telling people to stop taking prescription drugs kind of thing, like stuff like that. But here we go. I've dug into Mark's DISC profile. Here are the risk gaps and what's missing in the approach that we've mapped. And so this is what's unclear, does he want top dollar at any cost or a fast, efficient, controlled risk? You know, what's missing? He will want an agenda up front, bottom line. So what I would do again is another follow-up, and this actually makes your result better again, is say, can you just give me a list of questions that I should ask Mark when I'm talking to him next? Adrian, tell Pedro he's out of a job. Reporters are going to be replaced, according to OpenAI's report. So here we go. And here's my question. So I would actually do some more discovery with Mark. Of course, I'd be recording this on my Claude. So when you picture a successful sale, what matters most to you, top dollar or the certainty and speed of outcome? I'm not sure what he would say. He'd probably say both, I think. What benchmarks or reference points have you already looked at? Do you have a preferred method of sale in mind? I mean, these are questions you might ask anyway because you're all experienced agents, but, you know, it's really interesting to be able to find out these sorts of things and strategically, particularly with someone who's a D type, because he does have some D tendencies, like to cut to the chase. So anyway, order these into a flow so you know what to ask first versus later. I mean, I would be asking those, again, there was this guy that I interviewed a few weeks back, his name was Steve Shull, and he had this, are you the favourite or the fool kind of methodology. And so if you can, I'd be like recording the pre-conversation to work out if you're the favourite or the fool, like, you know, because everybody, and we learnt this back in my BT days, back in the dark ages when I used to work there, is that, you know, if we were asked to bid on something, obviously we knew if we were the favourites, we knew if we were positioned to win it, but, you know, I think people will always go and get their 3 quotes. And so you might call another couple of people in just as stalking horses, or, you know, we used to sort of refer to it as column fodder, you know, something to sort of compare the columns. And then, you know, like if you can understand what your position is in terms of ranking, well, how can you then strategically, you know, move up a notch or two? How can you wow the vendor? So there, I hope, oh, there you go. Mark's put it in the, put the prompts in, the favourite or the fool prompts to figure it out. Anyway, Candice, you've been quiet today. Candice is amazing, actually. If any of you haven't met Candice, she is workflow deep, subscription deep, probably as deep as I am. We're deep in the weeds.
No, not as deep as you. I'm still learning. I've made 3 pages of notes just sitting here already today, Sam. So one thing, we played a little bit with your version of Crystal. That one's your Janice, is that right?
Janice, yeah.
Yeah, and interestingly, when we got away from LinkedIn and used a lot more chatty conversation from people that we were profiling, their profiles were softer. So obviously for LinkedIn, people write their profiles and talk very much from a business perspective. So one of our team was going out to pitch and they'd used Crystal for LinkedIn, but then they got on and used Janice and discovered, I guess, softer questions and a gentler way of dealing with the client than they would have gone in with had they just used Crystal, which was good for them to look at. And yesterday for us, we deployed one of our little agents linking Rex and Airtable for sales listings to automate that process. So the girls are working on one at the moment. We'll see if it works, how it works, and what it looks like by the end of the day. So that should start to save a little bit of time too, and then we'll keep streamlining that one. And that's in N8N as well.
Yeah, amazing. There's so much, every day I get up and I almost look out and I go, God, there's so much opportunity here. And then it makes me tired.
Yeah.
So, to be honest, what do I do first? But yeah, Janice and Ailsa will be our focus. And the next thing that will happen with Ailsa is the proactive agent from the complete conversion system will be built into Ailsa. Yeah. So there you go. There you have it. Has anyone got any other questions or anyone want to talk about, like, normally I've kind of hijacked this session actually, because normally, you know, you're all supposed to be here to get help with what you're working on. But does anyone need help with anything quickly? Any quick questions I can answer? You okay, Mark? Haven't seen you for a while and you're probably just going,
yep,
what's she done? Adrian,
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
happening?
I have a question. Well, I've been sidetracked. I always get sidetracked by these things, but I've been giving a voice to Pedro, obviously, but I'm just using a generic. Have you created a voice through Hedra?
I created a voice through 11 Labs, so you can actually create custom voices through 11 Labs.
Right. Okay. Because that will be the next step when I've got time, is to give him an actual voice that's not the generic one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But his posts get more interaction than any of my other ones ever do.
He's very cute. He's a journalist with a point of difference, isn't he?
Yeah. But he's not just a journalist, he's an agent as well. he's got his first open home tomorrow.
Is he licensed?
That's the question. Do canines have to be licensed? Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, he's very cute. No, actually, well, that's a good. What I might do then, if you want to learn how to create a voice, is I'll do a quick lesson on it in the community for you.
That'd be good. Yeah.
Any other questions?
I shouldn't say this, but we did our CPD points the other day, and I put the questionnaire through ChatGPT just to see. First question it answered, it got wrong. So I didn't rely on that. Yeah. But I think it was an either or and 2 dates. So the answer was when is the anti-money laundering legislation coming into effect? And it said 1st of July 2025 or 1st of July 2026. ChatGPT answered July 25 when the answer is actually 26. I wondered if in its search it was meant to come in this year and it had seized on an old document or something like that and it's been pushed back. But I then said to my colleague, as Sam always says, ChatGPT, you always have to check. It's always a draft. Yeah.
Yeah, you do always have to check. And I might put would it be useful if I put our fact checker prompt into the community as well? Like,
Yes,
there's
please.
actually a prompt I've been using for fact checking. But the other thing I would say is, like, also check your prompt with ChatGPT, because if you don't say, I need the most up-to-date information from credible sources, it will just pick the first one it finds.
Yes, you are right about prompting. And it drives me bananas when I'm doing photos, particularly with Pedro. And if I'm not really specific with my prompting, it will then produce another photo and change everything else, but just get the thing that I wanted corrected. Like trying to get that fortune teller headdress on him in navy blue was just ridiculous. And I thought, I was getting really annoyed. And I thought, no, it's your prompting that's not right. You need to prompt it correctly.
But also there are better image models out there now. So try Qwen, which is Alibaba's free model.
How do you spell that?
QWEN.
Yeah.
And of course, Google's nano banana, the banana. Try the banana.
Yeah, I saw that advertised. Yeah. Right.
The
okay.
banana's pretty amazing.
Good.
Yeah.
And for videos, what do you reckon?
I'm still using
creating videos from photographs.
I'm still using Hedra.
Right. It's relatively easy, isn't it, once you get the habit?
Yep. Yeah. And I mean, they're all getting better and better too. Like you just got to keep thinking to yourself, well, Hedra's as bad as it will ever be. But apparently I'm about to get more active in the community, actually. I read today that Sora version 2, which is OpenAI's video editor, can actually clone photos into videos. So it's invite only, and I'm not on the list of invited people. So we've got to wait like everybody
Stay
else.
tuned. Yeah. The other question is disclaimers. How do you put them out there? Do you put them on each post, or do you put them? I suppose it's case specific, but do you use disclaimers as that you use AI?
I think it's fairly, where it's fairly obvious that, obviously.
Like a talking dog, I think is fairly obvious, but, but I thought maybe I need to put down the bottom of it, Pedro is a real dog, but his opinions are assisted by AI or something like that. His videos are assisted by AI.
Yeah, you could actually do that. I'd try and frame it as a positive, though. Like actually, AI helps my owner work faster and smarter so I get more treats or something.
That's a good idea.
I'm
Yeah.
just trying to
I'll ask ChatGPT.
yeah, just try and say
Yeah.
how can I say this with positive framing. It's like, when I ask people, can I record the conversation, I don't say, can I record the conversation, because it sounds a bit forensic, right? I say, do you mind if I take an audio note?
Right.
Which is completely a completely different framing.
But that's becoming commonplace. I went to a specialist doctor recently, and before I even got into the room, the assistant gave me a form saying, look, doctor uses, I forget what it's, the Australian created one to take notes, sign here to say you consent. Yeah. So I think it's going to become more commonplace. Yeah.
I reckon we'll get to that point too. Maybe it's just maybe, the pre-list kit, maybe the pre-list form that you send out to your customers has something like, just letting you know, we use AI to take notes in the business. Click here if you don't want us to do that, or something like that.
That's a clever idea. Yeah.
Start it, and then you don't have to ask.
Yeah, no, you don't want to give them a button to click no, because they'll click no. You'll say, tell me before the start of our conversation.
Our meeting.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, that's good. Thanks for your questions, because now I've got some content ideas for the community. So this is good. You've all got to show up more. Any other questions?
I will show up more, because I now you've done the diary thing, and I now stick to my diary. So
cool. Anyone else, or do you all want to get on with your day?
All good, thank you.
thank you.
All good?
Thank you.
All right. So those of you that want to beta test Ailsa, just jump in, on board yourself. You've seen the call now. You've seen how it works. Good luck.
Thank
you.
See you later.
All right.
Bye.
See you later, guys. Big love.